Oh, good.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to our sixth lemonade session. Sue and I are just laughing because I went through all this just now and it turns out I was not live. So for those of you who are seeing us, welcome. If you want to grab a pen and paper, we're going to get started in a couple of minutes. And a lot of people have found that it's helpful to take notes. Hello, Kelsey. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know where you're watching from. So go ahead and type in the chat box where you're tuning in from this morning or afternoon or evening if you're watching us on replay or happen to be in a different part of the world. We'd love to know where you are tuning in from. We have a lot of really exciting materials to cover today. We are talking about the subject of support, which is always a fun one for me. It's one of my favorite topics, one of my least favorite things to ask for, but one of my favorite things to hear about and give. So I'm very excited about our subject today on the Lemonade sessions. We've got Leslie who's tuning in. Hi, Leslie. Go ahead if you are tuning in, just throw in that chat box right there what you're doing or where you're watching from. Would love to know that. I see Sue just joined. Sue, I don't know. Are you going to be able to multitask?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, well, we'll find out.
Yeah, I don't think I'll multitask, but I'll kind of be watching.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right. Sue's trying to steal my job here.
No, I'm just watching.
All right, great. So welcome as everybody is tuning in. We're going to get started in just a moment. If you want to grab paper and a pen, that's great. For those of you who are new to the Lemonade sessions, welcome. If you are like, oh no, I haven't seen sessions 1 through 5, don't worry about it. Stay with us live. We will be explaining everything and you can always go back later and watch the sessions that you haven't seen yet. We also want to let you know if you're watching and something comes up and you have to go deal with it, also totally fine. We post this recording afterwards so you can tune in and check back in at any time. So you'll be able to watch this recording. If you have been on these before or think this might be helpful, today we're talking about the subject of asking for support. Go ahead and click the share button on the video so your friends and family and Facebook friends can tune in and learn a little bit more about support as well. Or watch party is another great way. You can click the watch party button and start your own watch party and get some folks going. We've got Nikki tuning in from Willowbrook, Illinois. For the rest of you, let us know where you're tuning in from in the chat box there. We're always just curious to see what's going on. So as we're about to get started, and I just want to go over a little bit of how this works for those of you who are new to this. So you can see us, we can't see you. If you're having a no pants day, that's totally fine. Enjoy it. If you have anything you want to share, and we're trying to make this as participatory as possible, you can go ahead and type it in the chat box and that will give us answers. Shout out to Cole who just tuned in. And we are going to try to answer questions, incorporate your answers. I'm going to be the voice of all of you. I'm looking at the chat box and watching it as people are commenting, and then I will be sharing those with Sue. And yeah, I think those are the basics. We're going to have a lot of fun and we're going to learn a lot in the next 58 minutes. So my name is Taryn. I am a Pathways grad. I graduated about 7 years ago is when I attended the basic seminar and have done everything, all the workshops and classes since then, and have really enjoyed staffing. I also work with Pathways in my day job as a creative director. So I am really excited and honored to be helping adapt the materials that a lot of us, for those of you who are grads, and for those of you who are new, that Pathways teaches in the rooms when they do in-room seminars, and bring it to you at home right now and through the lens specifically of what's going on right now in the world with COVID-19 and self-isolation and quarantines and all of that. So we are going to be bringing this to all of you. So for those of you who are new to Pathways, Pathways has been around for 35 years. And in that time, over 45,000 people have gone through the seminars. So there's a huge grad community. I see a lot of grads are on here today. Hello. And welcome to those of you who may have heard this before, but are going to hear it in a brand new lens because we're living in a brand new world right now. Yeah. And now I will let Sue introduce herself, and well, I'll give a quick introduction of Sue before that. So Sue is one of the co-founders of Pathways, so she knows what she's talking about. And Sue, one of the things that I really love about your style is you are not afraid to just call it how it is. So I'm really looking forward to our conversation today and to talk about support in that way, and in a really upfront sort of way. So anything else you want to say to introduce yourself today?
I don't think so. I think you did a great job.
All right, awesome.
I've been doing it for 35 years. I love this work. I love helping people find new ways to live and new ways to do things and overcome the fears that stop them from doing that.
Awesome. And we love you for it. So let's get started and talk about support today. And Norm has a comment. Thanks. Yeah, so just click share if you want to invite anyone to join this chat. It's great in replay. We're amazing in replay, just as funny. But it's way more fun to participate live. So, all right, take it away, Sue. Tell us about support.
Support. So I'm gonna, what I do best is ask questions and have you come to your own answers. So I'm going to start with that. And I want you to think about the areas of your life where you need to ask for support, but don't always ask for support. So maybe it's within your family, husband, wife, where you don't want to ask for support because you don't want to have the reaction you're afraid you're going to get. Maybe it's at work where you don't ask for support because you're afraid of God only knows what, but you'd be afraid to ask for support at work. Ask for support from your coworkers. Ask for support in a new project, whether it's at home or even now, using all the tech things that we need to ask for right now, or the support that you might need right now because you're feeling down, lonely, anxious, so afraid to ask for that support. And so I want to know from you where you don't ask for support. Maybe there are areas that you do, and those are comfortable for you, but we want to talk about where you don't today, so that you can overcome whatever it is that's stopping you from not asking for support. When we don't do that, we don't get as far ahead in life. And so this is really about starting to look at those areas for yourself. Have they come up with any areas yet, Trin?
Not yet. I think they're thinking, but go ahead and type that in the chat box. Where are you not asking for support in your life? And I'll just put the question in here too. So we're starting to get some answers. Tammy says with weight loss, she's not asking for support.
Okay. That's good. It's not good, but it's good that you're recognizing that you're not asking for that support. And Tammy, specifically for you, what are the assumptions that you make or the fears that you have in asking for support around weight loss? Most of the time we're making assumptions of some kind of what the other people will think of us, assumptions of judgments that we're fearful of them making about us. For a long time, I couldn't ask for support. I was terrified that if people saw that, oh, I'm not sure if I'm in the room. I think I may have just gotten kicked out. Oh, maybe she got kicked out. Okay.
I'm here.
All right.
Maybe I should be asking for support from my internet provider.
Possibly right now, that might be a good idea. Or Zoom.
Right.
So we make assumptions about what other people are going to think. And in my life, I was terrified of what people would think of me. And so I thought that they would think I was stupid, or I didn't have enough education, or that who I was wouldn't be enough, or that they would see me as incapable of things. Those were some of the fears that I had in asking for support. And so each of us has different reasons, beliefs, assumptions that we make in not asking for support. And I'm very grateful that at this time in my life, I don't feel afraid of anything, any way of asking for support. I feel as though in many ways we've each been brought here with different skills and different talents. And that if we're all supporting each other, that we as a group are going to get along better in life and get further along in any area of our life where we need that support.
We have a lot of answers coming in right now.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So Storm says, I'm finding I don't ask for support from my people that I usually ask for support from right now, because I'm assuming everybody is dealing with this right now, you know.
Wow. I want you to bring that one back up.
Yeah, I think that's
talk about that one.
Yeah,
a lot. That is so crucially important right now. And how thinking about it, you know, your belief is really not only holding you back, but the people in your life as well. So maybe I'll just go into it right now. What the hell?
I can't stop the Sue train.
That's right. Just tell me when I have to stop. Oh. So I want you to, who is this particular one? Storm. So Storm, when you are asked for support about something, how do you feel? What goes on inside for you when you're able to give that person the support that they need? How do you feel? Because for me, it's always a sense of feeling helpful and loving and caring, and it brings up all those good feelings inside for me. And so when you're not asking for support from those people in your life, you're robbing them of having those kind of feelings to support you. And so I want you to think about that, you know, because yes, it may be a horrible time for somebody, but you asking for support may bring them out of that terrible time for themselves. Because one of the things that we teach in the seminars is if you go out there and you're having a horrible day, go help somebody. And it will bring and lift you up for helping them. And so I want you to think about that next time you go, oh, you know, they're having a terrible time too. Maybe that day they're having a great day. And you are just the tonic they need. Maybe they're having a terrible day and you're the tonic they need. It's like not assuming and judging where somebody else is at that might be able to be there for you and giving them great feelings about being able to support you. What are some of the other things?
Yeah, well, Storm says she feels honored sometimes and sometimes stressed. And I think that, I don't know if you want to go there now, but the idea of, you know, how do you build up that trust with somebody and trust that someone will tell you if they can support you or not?
I think it's just trusting that, or it's even saying to the person, if you can't support me right now, it's okay. Just tell me that and I'll find someone else. Because you're right. We need to say no in supporting someone when we don't feel capable of it. And there are times each one of us is not feeling capable of that. And so how do you be honest with people and say, you know, I really need support today, but if you're not able to, I want you to tell me the truth, and I'll go find it somewhere else. But you've got to keep asking till you get your needs met, the need of or for support that day. You need to make sure you get that. And you also need to make sure that if someone can't give it to you that day, it's okay. It isn't about you, it's about what they're going through that day. And so being able to say no is also a gift. How many people out there are afraid to say no? And so they just do it and then they feel worse. This is about, especially this time in our lives, is about being authentic. How can we be as authentic as possible during this time of the shit show we're going through? I mean, that's what I'm going to call it, the shit show. Because it's scary and it's frightening, and so many of us need that support in our lives, and we've got to reach out and get it and give it when we can, and say no when we can't.
And I'm curious if you have any suggestions. I know we talked about it, I think in one of the first Lemonade sessions, but a way to lovingly say that, that we can't offer support right now. Mm-hmm. Storm says, I never say no, so she doesn't even consider that's an option for someone else.
Oh, sweetheart, you need to say no. I know you, and you need to say no. Yesterday, I had worked all night, Friday night and Saturday on the computer. And I was really wanting just a day off, knowing I have to get back at it again today. And so 3 people called me for support. And here's what I said. I would love to be able to support you, and I can't do it today. I need a day to myself, and I would be happy to support you tomorrow. Would that work for you? And they all said yes. And so this morning, 7 o'clock, I got a phone call. My first one. So you need to say it, and letting them know that you really want to support them, and in this moment you can't.
Really great point. And Becky brings up a great point too in the comments. She said, are you really giving full support if you say yes when you want to say no?
No, never. Because when you say yes and the real answer is no, how are you feeling inside? And the person usually is able to pick that up. I mean, a lot of times what that causes is a lot of resentment, anger, frustration. And so you're short with the person, or maybe you drop everything and you're there, but then you get off the phone and or the computer, and you're so frustrated with yourself. And then you beat yourself up for saying yes when you meant no. And that's not going to help you during these times. Fear, beating ourselves up, all those things take a physical toll on our immune system. And right now, the most important thing is to keep our immune systems high. And so we need to be doing things that support that bring us joy, because joy lifts the immune system. Joy supports the immune system, and that's what we need to do. So no yeses when you mean no. And it's frightening, because you're afraid that that person is going to do what? Go away, not like you anymore.
Never ask again.
Never ask again. And so if you can just let them know that I really love you and I care about you, and I'm in such a difficult place myself right now that I can't support you. I would love to. Let me get myself back, and then I'll come back and see if I could still support you at that point.
Really, 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 eye-opening kind of pieces and things to think about. And we have a question in here, and I'm curious about this too, right? So yes, I agree with everything you said, but on top of that, I still would feel guilty. And this is a question too, right? Asking for support right now, having so many friends, and living in New York City, and this question comes from somebody in New York City also, having so many New York City friends being sick and having lost their jobs and having to deal with a lot of these things and fears. And I've got you know, I think about myself. I'm in an apartment by myself. I've got friends who have kids who are having to entertain their kids on top of all of this going on. So surely in those situations, you would tell us, don't worry about it and don't, you know, it's okay to feel guilty and not ask them, right?
No, guilt, awful emotion, terrible emotion. All guilt is a way to tell ourselves that we're okay making the decision we made. So guilt harms every part of yourself. It brings down your self-esteem. It brings down your belief in yourself. It brings down your immune system. It sends you immediately into fear. So you can tell the person, I feel guilty, I feel sad, I feel upset with myself that I can't be here for you right now, but release that guilt in whatever way you need to. Guilt is not going to serve you, and it's not going to serve the other person. You did something in that moment, especially right now with all the people in New York. I have tons of people, tons of grads in New York that I love with all my heart. And I think about it every day. And every day I send a white light out there and surround all of New York and, well, really the whole world, you know, with my love, because that's what I can do. I can't call every single person. I can't be there for every single person. And neither can you. You are one person. And you need to take care of you first. It's like getting on that airplane and putting on your oxygen mask first. You're going to put it on first and then feel guilty about having it on? No. If you aren't putting on your oxygen mask, you don't have enough strength, power, breath, everything else to put on somebody else's. So look at this. We are in a crisis situation. We are in that as a world. You need to put on your oxygen mask first. This isn't about guilt. It's about you love those people. And you can say, I love you. I care about you. You mean the world to me. And I need to put on my oxygen mask first. People will understand that. And is there anyone else you could get support from? And I'll come back and check in on you tomorrow or the next day, or as soon as I get my stuff together and out of my own fear, because I'm feeling fearful right now too. Does that help?
Yeah, I think so. And Darren, if that does not help, go ahead and add in the chat and I can bring it back up again in a little bit. But
Who said that?
Darren?
You said that doesn't help him?
No, I said, Darren, if that doesn't help, go ahead and type in the chat box. But for right now, I think
it helps.
We're going to think it helps. Yeah, unless you tell us otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay, so we took a little Sue-page detour, but let's go back on to, well, no, I mean, it's great. We're loving this. So you told us about, and we talked about who we're afraid to ask for support from.
Mm-hmm.
So we chatted.
So what are some of the fears, I think, would be next about, what are some of the fears you have in asking for support? Fear of being imperfect or not being okay, fear of them seeing you as less than them, fear of not being capable, fear of failure, fear of just what they would think of you in general. What are some of the fears that come up for you specifically around not asking for support?
So Donna says judged. Kelsey says judgment of being weak. Got some more people typing right now.
My chair won't stay still.
We've got those two for right now.
Okay, so
Yeah.
judgment of what? What are you fearful they'll judge you about? Because you have that belief somewhere in your head about they're going to judge me as what?
Donna says she doesn't want to bother someone.
Oh, I see.
And a judgment that they'll judge her as being annoying.
Wow. So, Donna, if I called you and said I needed support because I'm really stressed out, would you feel I'm annoying you? Would you judge me as what you're afraid of being judged as? I bet the answer to that's no. But I would say that in those moments, you might be, instead of being afraid that you would be annoying, of them saying no and you taking that personally. Instead of just seeing that we say yes and we say no because of us, we don't say it because of the other person. There are times when you can give support, right? And times you can't. And so it's just a matter of knowing that everyone in our world is in a different place. So some people are okay, some people aren't okay, some people are terrified and so anxious that they're having a hard time dealing with anything. And so you got to keep going until you get support. If I couldn't get support from you, I'd call Turin. If I couldn't get it from Turin, I'd call Darren. I don't know what Darren's on here, but you mentioned him. I'd call Chelsea. I would call Storm. I would just keep calling until I got what I needed. And it's the same for you. You need to keep going from person to person. And there are people I know you have in your life that would absolutely be there for you at any given moment. And I don't think that they would think you are a pain or annoying. I know a few that wouldn't anyway.
Autumn said judgment of being lazy or that I'm taking advantage of someone. And I think that's something that a lot of folks can sympathize with and feel that, you know, they're taking advantage of the system or in filing for certain services that are now available, or Becky shared my issues are not as important as what other people are going through. So this sort of
those are
comparison.
Yeah, those are things that we tell ourselves so we don't have to cross the line and overcome our own fears of asking for the support. That we feel like, oh, I'm not as important, or my issues aren't as big, and yet for us to reach out and ask for that support is where we find out who are the people that could be there for me in any given moment. And otherwise, you're just living in your assumptions. And, you know, I have this thing where assumptions make an ass out of you and me. Assume. Don't assume. You wouldn't want someone, Becky, would you want somebody to assume you wouldn't be there for them? I mean, how would that feel to know that person made that judgment that, oh, you know what? I'm not as important. My issues aren't as important. So I'm just going to leave her alone. Wouldn't you rather hear from that person than them not? Especially if they're struggling. I would, and it wouldn't matter to me. And those are the bigger picture items. You know, we're all in this together. That saying alone yet together. I mean, we are alone and we have to be there together to support each other in any way that we can. Anything else come up on there? What fears, assumptions?
No, Becky says it would hurt her actually if somebody didn't reach out.
So how many people, Becky, are you hurting by not reaching out? You know, that's that's the way to look at it, because that's the truth. You know, that's totally the truth. And you're so wise, if this is the Becky I'm thinking of. You are so wise, and you've got that tell it like it is kind of attitude that people need to hear right now, because it kind of brings it all right here, right now. Okay. And it helped them. But you got to be willing to do that too.
That's a great point. So you've told us, and we've sort of recognized where we're afraid to speak up and what's holding us back, and what those fears are around support. And we have half an hour left. So I'm hoping that you're going to tell us some ways we can overcome this.
No, I have none of that.
Just leave us feeling all bad about this and log off and go sip some lemonade. So please tell us something we can do. How do we overcome this?
Yeah, lemon. Well, first of all, I think you need to look at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is that you take off those assumptions and judgments, lay them down, and not assume that someone can't be there. Assume they can. So assume some of the positives instead of the negatives that you're assuming. They would want to be there for you. You would love to help them. They would love to help you. All those things. So start looking at more of the positive and more of the global picture of that we all are in this together. And so one person may not be able to help you right now, but someone else can. And so reaching out no matter what, because you're going to make somebody else's day better by reaching out than not. So that's one. Number two would be facing your fears. Fear is an illusion. I always say fear, if you use the letters of fear, it's false evidence appearing real. The belief we have, or the thing that we tell ourselves, is usually unwarranted and not true, but it's an assumption that we've made somewhere in our lives that we're not enough, that they're going to think these terrible things about me. It's assumptions that have happened somewhere in your life. So here's a good one for me. Having been, for those of you that don't know, I'm very honest about my life, or don't know me. Those of you that do know me will know this already. But those of you that don't, I'm probably going to put something out here that's a little uncomfortable. So as a young child, I was sexually abused. And due to that abuse, I decided inside myself that that happened to me because I was a bad person. And so because of that, I made all these assumptions in my life of not reaching out, not being enough, not being good enough. I'm a terrible person. If I asked you for anything, or I didn't perform in the way that you would want me to perform, you would not like me. Or you would find out about the abuse and think I was dirty, awful, terrible person. And so I shut up, I shut down, I got quiet. And since doing a lot of work and healing that abuse, I'm able to speak out, and I help a lot of people in life. It's the same with you. Whatever those false beliefs that you've told yourself, wherever they've come from, maybe it was a parent saying, shut up, and all of a sudden you thought you had to shut up the rest of your life. You have those things that you need to overcome so you can find something different about who you really are. I have a lot to say. I have a lot to give. And had I kept quiet because of those beliefs and not worked through that fear, many people would be, what would you say? Many people would be robbed of the gifts that I do have, that I can bring to the surface. And it's the same with you. You need to overcome those fears and beliefs that you have inside so that you can be all you are meant to be in this life and give to all of us, because we need you. Every single person has a different gift. Every single person is unique and wonderful in their own right. And when you overcome your fears, then you share that part of yourself with us. So it's facing your fear, even though it's scary. Okay, it's scary for everybody. There is no one in this life that isn't afraid to face their fear and overcome it. But it's a beautiful thing when you do, because it opens this freedom inside you that you're currently kind of constricted with. Again, that also restricts us and restricts our immune system. And I mean, fear is a very difficult thing to live with. Another one is to give yourself permission to be yourself. I see more marriages break up because you get into a relationship trying to be your best self, who you think the other person wants you to be. And so you get into this relationship and you, instead of being you and finding who'd be attracted to that, because that person's never going to leave you when you're being you, but they will leave when you be somebody else, or try and be somebody else, or try and be what you think they want you to be. And then eventually the real you comes out. It's really crucially important that you be you. And so all these things are things you need to do on a daily basis. Also tapping into your resources, your mentors, the people you respect and admire, and see how you can portray more of those parts of yourself, because you can only see in someone else what lives within you. So if you see somebody that's like fearless and has lots of courage, that lives within you, you're just not expressing it. And so tapping into those places inside you to overcome these fears. And that's the only thing that's going to help you right now. Support is crucial for each and every one of us right now. And so taking, putting on a coat of arms and going, okay, I'm going out there and I'm going to ask for my support, and do it. You'll see it's not as bad as you thought.
So we have a couple of questions. And also I've got a question I'd love to throw into the chat as we're asking these other questions. I think we talk about support, and in this time, it's really easy to think about support as go to the store and buy all my groceries for me, or, these sort of massive acts of help. And I'm curious, what are some of the other acts that people have done, either they've been asked for support on, or have asked themselves for support, just sort of so we could see a sense of that scale of, what the range of ways we could ask for support is. So if you have any of those thoughts, type them in the chat box. So we have a question well, first of all, we've got a comment from Sue. Says, thank you. No yeses when you mean no. I'm overly obliging sometimes, which became a problem with an individual taking advantage of that. So that's great. A great reminder for everybody. And then Becky, in response to your comment, said, well, and then just typed something that I'm sure would be a curse word, but a bunch of symbols. So
I love you, Becky.
And I believe that was in response to you asking how many people she's hurting. And then we have a question from Kelsey. She says, I've been struggling with teaching my children for asking for support. Can you touch on that, and how she could demonstrate that or teach that to her children?
So the first thing I would ask is, are you seeing places where they could ask for support instead of getting frustrated? Because sometimes what we do is, especially as a young child, but all of us young children inside ourselves, we get frustrated, angry, upset, and take it out in other ways. So you may be seeing some of that in your children. And so teaching them how to ask for support. If you know what the support is that they could ask for in that moment, show them. So are you looking for support in finding something to do right now? You seem, whatever they seem, irritated, frustrated, any of those things. So then ask them that, but in addition to that, say, so how would you ask for support about that? And then have them actually ask for support from the person they need to ask from. You know, I mean, it's wonderful to watch because as they get it, they go, oh, and then you don't have to be mad if you could ask for the support. And what happens, you know, and you teach them what happens if they can't give it to you. Then who else could you ask? And who else could you ask? And who else could you ask? So you teach them not to give up on themselves, but to find the right person to ask for support from. I hope that helps.
Kelsey said, my 7-year-old becomes frustrated and I try to teach him that, but yes, he says I can do it, or, you know, gets upset about it and doesn't do it at all.
And so maybe one of the things is to wait until he calms down and not do it in that moment, but use it as a teaching moment for later. Because sometimes, you know, people get mad, and this is true for kids too. They get mad and they can't hear. So in that moment, you know, it's like if you're talking to someone who's angry, they're not going to hear your point of view. So you need to just be there, listen, work with them the best you can, let it go, maybe send him to his room until he cools off, and then have him come back out and then talk to him about it. Because talking to him in the moment when he's so pissed off is not going to help, you know.
What's been amazing is Autumn replied to Kelsey and said, my 7-year-old gets the same way, and we had a really great breakthrough moment on Thursday. I'd be willing to chat with you about that. So we've got support just happening all over the place.
Yay!
And then we also had a post from Nikki saying she asked for support. She needs to know how to do a basic man's haircut, and she's never cut hair before, but her husband wants that, needs that and wants her to try. And Donna replied and said, I could help you with that. I'm a hairstylist. So this is amazing. So you just pop, asking for support, getting that support.
And Nikki, how does that feel to know here's a hairstylist that's over there that maybe you get on FaceTime or something, and she can show you how to hold the hair, cut the hair, and not have your husband look like, you know, you just shaved his head or something. So how does that feel for you? Just because you put it out right here. What does she say?
She's thinking while she's doing that, Iggy has a question, a really great question. What if you can't figure out what support you need?
Well, are there people in your life that you absolutely trust, that you could go and say, I am not sure exactly what I need? There are times where I have no clue what I need because I don't, and we'll take technology on my end. I have no idea what I need. I don't know technology. So I have to go to someone who knows technology and say, I don't know what I need, but this is what I need to do. How do I do that? I have no clue. I have no idea, you know? And it's the same thing. It's like, I'm feeling awful today. I don't even know what support I need, but I trust you to help me get there. And trust them to help you get there. Put it out in the grad group. I don't know what's going on for me today, but I'm really struggling and I need support. Let them ask you the questions that can help you get to the support that you need. You know, that's where people are afraid to put that out there and afraid to look foolish. You're not looking foolish. You're looking really smart to me. because you're not willing to sit there in all that crap and hold on to it. You're out there saying, help me, please. And that takes more courage than anything, and more balls than anything in the world. So when you're doing that, you're offering a lot of people a way to get outside themselves and to be there for you. Did Nikki come up with something? Did she answer?
Nikki said, great, feels great. I had no doubt I would find support here. I love pathways. And also a couple folks want Donna's help as well. And she's gonna arrange some sort of FaceTime or Skype or something to teach a group lesson on haircutting, apparently. So amazing.
Donna, that's wonderful. Could you teach me how to cut my own? I just said this to Angel yesterday, I think. I said, you know, the woman who's cutting my hair has wanted it to grow, and I'm in a lot of resistance to that. And she wants it long. And I'm like, this is as long as I'll go. Well, she's going to be just happy as a pig in shit, you know, because I can't cut it. So there you go. She's going to be happy when she sees me next. Oh, look, you let it grow.
I hope she's not watching right now, or maybe she is. We'll see. Great. So we've got about 15 minutes left. You're getting a lot of no's. People are not wanting you to cut your hair. Donna's not going to teach you, and Angel says no. In the last 15 minutes, is there anything that you want to share? And those of you who are watching, if you have questions around support that you would like me to ask, go ahead and type those into the chat, and I'm happy to ask them for you.
I really don't have anything else to share except to just go beyond your fears. You'll feel great when you do. It opens up a whole nother part of you inside that helps you relax and be more of yourself when you can overcome those fears. I became a fear buster. That's what I called myself. I'm a fear buster. So I'm going to go in, and when I find a fear, I'm going to challenge it, as scary as that is. And it expanded. So here was my, let's say it was like this. This was my comfort zone. I had none. I was terrified. I was terrified of people. I was terrified of talking. I was terrified of being found out. I was just terrified. And now my comfort zone is huge. But it's because I've overcome those fears. I've stepped into them. I became a fear buster. So like Ghostbusters, well, I went and I hunted down my fears. Hunt down your fears. That is the greatest gift you can give to yourself, is to hunt down those fears, no matter what they are. You know, you will be really happy you did.
And there's less and less excuses out there not to, right? Oh, well, I've got to go outside and do this. Oh, I have this meeting I have to go attend to. I'm going to this concert. Or the universe is just saying, nope, here's your opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a question from Autumn. I would love to know how to not get angry or have resentment when my spouse is unable to support me in certain ways in the moment that I need support.
Well, just like I said before, there are some people that are going to be able to support you and other people that cannot. For whatever their reason is, their justification, maybe they're afraid at that time, maybe they don't know how to do what you're asking them to do. Maybe they feel incapable of doing, or that they're going to look bad to you if they do support you in that way. And I know in my life that in my first marriage, I had to go outside to my friends to find the support that I needed. And I would just tell you to get it wherever you can get it right now. And if it isn't with him, whatever's going on for him is just as important as what's going on for you. And Autumn, I'd be happy to talk to the two of you to see if we could get beyond that place where the important things that are really crucial in your life, because I know that you two struggle with the health of your daughters, and maybe there's some stuff there that you're looking for support with. And so I'd be happy to speak with both of you to be able to see if we can get you two beyond that point to where he feels okay supporting you. Because it's hard when you're in a marriage and you're not getting that support. And right now, if it's a physical support you need, like, I need you to clean the bathroom. I mean, that's a stupid thing, but it could be. Or I need you to vacuum, or I need you to make dinner, or I'm not sure what you need support with, but if it's those types of things, then maybe he could have a different understanding. And if it's emotional, then we could definitely create an understanding of creating a win-win where you both win. And that's what you're looking for, is how do I win and how does my mate win when I'm looking for support. I hope that helps.
Another question, is the role of support different for people who are, before you get to that one, Autumn just wrote back, she said it's more emotional support.
Okay, then you need to go outside your marriage. You need to find it from other people, because he's not capable of doing that right now. And if you're asking him for something that he can't do, more than likely, what will happen is that he will get frustrated and angry at you. So instead of having that happen, then look for your emotional support in other places, honey. Do a Zoom, do a phone call, do whatever you need to get the support you need from people that absolutely could give it to you in those moments. And what was the other question you had?
So the other question is, how does the role of support differ for those of us who are living alone right now or in self-isolation?
It would depend, again, on what kind of support. If it's emotional support, doing things like this, coming on here, connecting with grads. You know, we just had a group of grads who got on a Zoom call. They just wrote each other and they all got on a Zoom call and supported each other because someone was living alone and felt isolated. I'm going to talk about you, Turin. Turin is also living alone, and she created this great thing where it's a talent show that she is putting on for the amusement of others, but also for the joy of showing off your talent, no matter what it is, even if it's a cartwheel, it doesn't matter. You're showing a gift that you can bring to the group, and it's bringing a lot of joy to people and a lot of fun. So you have to think outside the box. What would bring me joy? I have my family that I get on Zoom with, and I talk to my extended family. I talk to my immediate family. I have a girls' night where we have cocktails at 5:00, and we sit there and do a cocktail hour, where we just talk about everything. And so what can you do that's going to bring you joy? Because it's got to bring you joy. It can't just be something you're going to do and it doesn't bring you joy. That'll let you have support living alone. Are you alone in a house? Are you alone in an apartment complex? Maybe there's things that you could do within your condo, apartment, townhouse complex. And if you're alone in a house, then where else can you reach out? Some people have been doing a happy hour. This one really I loved. They are doing a big circle of all the neighbors, and they all bring their drinks and their chairs, and they're 6 feet apart in a circle on the street. Cars can still go by because they leave that room for a car, but they're doing happy hour every day. And they, it's like using your creativity to find the way. alone, that you can get the support you need. And the contact, because I think that's so important right now is contact.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. We've gotten a couple of suggestions too. Donna wants in on the talent show. Just send me a message and I will happily send you the evite. Becky said Marco Polo has been huge for me. I can see and be seen, but because it's a message app, they listen and respond when they have time. So I don't feel like I'm intruding.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, Autumn says, we have a group of friends that have started doing a Friday night game night where we play virtual games via an app and then we all get on a Zoom call. That's a great idea.
I'd like to know what that app is so that I could do that with my family. We want to do a murder mystery. And I know there's one out there. Yeah. And people,
great idea.
It's like, this is what I heard about it. It's a murder mystery. Someone is the killer. Okay. It's like Clue. But you have to come dressed as the character you are, which is so cool. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. One of the things, I've had some friends who have sent me playlists. And so for me, you know, especially living alone, I feel like I control everything that is happening in my environment right now. So it's nice to have that input coming from somewhere else, even if it's, I'm not, you know, I don't know what song's going to come on next because my friend made this playlist and sent it to me. So
I love it.
Yeah, that's a great way. And then I also just heard about somebody doing a contactless dinner potluck where she and her mom and her sister, they all made dishes. They met at a certain point. They exchanged them by putting them in each other's trunks. Then they all went home and shared the same meal on Zoom, eating together. So
fun.
Yeah, I don't know if that's totally CDC approved. I'm sure you should be careful of the containers and everything, but I love that idea. I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah, that's very cute.
Yeah, so really a lot of opportunities for getting creative and thinking of new ways to connect. And you know, even in this call, it's been great to see the way that people have asked for support or suggestions and people have just jumped right in with ideas.
Absolutely, because each one of us has certain gifts that we can bring to the whole. And that's the great thing, I think, about Pathways and being in the Pathways community is that if you put something out there, someone is going to have an answer. You just have to have the courage to put it out there and not feel like, oh, what are they going to think of me? Who cares? Who cares? It's up to you to get yourself taken care of. You know, I love the saying, if it's to be, it's up to me. If I'm not to be lonely, it's up to me to create what I need to create in order to not be lonely. If I want love, I got to give love first. You know, it's, if my life is to be magical, then I need to make it that way. And it's the same with you, that each and every one of you have the ability to do that. It's just letting go of the fears of what others will think so that you can create that for yourself.
Well, our time is almost up. Donna says that she's wearing a cow costume all day today. So even not even seeing that, but just picturing that has brought some joy into my life. So thank you, Donna, for sharing that. So for those of you who are enjoying this or thinking like, wow, Sue is super insightful, how can I connect with her? If you want to send an email to office@pathwaysseminars.com, pathways with an S, seminars.com. Sue does one-on-one coaching and couples coaching and family coaching, and that is a great way for you to get one-on-one time. Storm asked, how can we support Pathways during this time? That's a great question. One of those ways you can do it is by sharing these lemonade sessions on Facebook and helping get the word out about them so we can continue to share this experience and knowledge with people. And, you know, as a small business, it's always great to reach out and do what you can. One-on-one coaching sessions are one great way to support Pathways. Being involved in the grad page and really sharing your experiences and supporting each other as graduates is great. And although we do not have the date for when our next in-person basic seminar will be, it will be coming at some point. And, you know, talking to friends, and for those of you who are new to Pathways and just learning about us, this is just the tiniest tip of the iceberg of what you can get out of a weekend at Pathways, and some of the insights. So I would encourage all of you to sign up for communications and go to pathwayseminars.com to learn more, so we can support each other in person when that time comes. And one other thing, I will tease it. I would yell at Sue if she were going to try to talk about this, but there are a couple of virtual workshops that are coming up. And so those are on the horizon. We'll be sharing those, but we're going to have a couple of exciting ways for you to continue your growth and learning. So signing up for those is great, and sharing those with your friends as well is another great way to support Pathways during this time. Anything else you want to add, Sue?
There's some you don't even know about.
Can't wait. All right. So we will see, we are signing off, but we will see you.
I want to add one more thing. So, you know, this can be a really stressful time, especially for those of you that maybe had done therapy but stopped. There is telehealth, I think it's called, out there. And for those of you that don't know, Melissa Gonski, Jay Cangialosi, they are both doing telehealth right now. They're amazing therapists. And so if you need that number or want that number, that's a wonderful way to get support as well. I just want everybody to know that, you know, you can get that support, especially if you get into a deep dive of negative emotions or depression or anxiety. I don't know if you know what EMDR is, but Melissa does EMDR, which is an amazing process that can help you out of any kind of issue in a very gentle, loving way. She's really great at it. So, and it's all on the phone or FaceTime or Skype, or now she's doing Zoom also. So just to let you know that that's available to you.
Great. So we will see you all back here on Friday with lemonade sessions. Fridays are our open days. So if you have any questions that you want, it's just a casual Q&A with Sue.
Any subjects, anything.
Any subjects, yeah.
Talk about anything, sex, love, couples, kids, whatever you want.
All right, we will see you all on Friday. And I will try not to blush as we're talking about all those subjects. Thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, share it, host a watch party, and we will see you on Friday.
See you soon.
Once I figure out how to end this live session for today.
Oh.